Hello, lovely people. It's Nicola back in the Stitches and Slapdashery sewing room. It's fall, y'all. I love it. We've finally got below 30 degrees. Daytime temperatures are in the 20s right now. Means we can leave the windows open all day and we don't have to block the sun out. It's awesome. And in the coming week, our nighttime temperatures are due to be less than 10 degrees. There's some 8s and 9s in there. Oh, I love it. I've been watching the sunset and sunrise times on my app because I love to look around the time of the equinox. I like to see when the day is 12 and 12, like 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. I was just thinking, hang on, solstice is when it's either winter solstice, like 16 and 8, summer solstice, same thing, but the other way around, equinox, equal time of light and dark. So yeah, perfect crochet weather, guys. I love it. And I have a cheeky chai in my fabric mug here, which says, I have enough fabric, said no one ever. And talking of fabric, look what I did to these. Can you see that? I got some cardboards. I'll show you what they look like before I cut them up. So these pieces of cardboard are from my local fabric shop, which is closing, but I mean, they're always recycling stuff like that because every time they finish a bolt, they toss it in the recycling dumpster. So yesterday, I took all that lovely fabric, which I bought the other day, which I talked about in the last vlog, and some other pieces that I bought a few weeks ago, and I rolled them on 10-inch lengths of that cardboard. And so, don't they look lovely and neat and tidy and pretty? Ah, it's so lovely when things look nice. I was going to say, I live in British Columbia, Canada, BC interior, not the coast. And it's an absolutely beautiful area, very scenic. And I feel very blessed to live here. I'm planning to go for a walk in a local wooded park with a friend later. So I'm going to snatch some footage of that so I can put it in this vlog because it's a lovely time to hike. It's not too hot. The leaves are falling. The salmon may be spawning. It may be a tiny bit early for seeing salmon in the creek, but I'll be looking. And yeah, it's lovely all around. What's not to like? So how's my week been? How's your week been? I hope you've had a good one. Mine's mostly been a couple of work shifts and lots of emailing and running around picking up donations for the festival that I'm helping to organize, which is coming up real soon. And I'm just so blown away by how generous some of the local businesses are. Now, I went to a few places yesterday and they're just giving me like $100 or more worth of product for us to put in our silent auction to raise money for the animal sanctuary and for the cooking program charities that we're supporting. And it's just amazing. Warms my heart, really does. And oh yeah, while I was going around picking up donations yesterday, of course, I had to stop and do some more U-pick. Oh, those tomatoes and plums that I bought last weekend it was. We went and did U-pick and we got about, can't remember now, 20 pounds of tomatoes and 12 of plums. Excuse my pronunciation of tomatoes. Whilst I am British, I am also Canadian. I have lived here for 30 years and some Canadian pronunciations have snuck into my language, you'll notice. Sometimes it's just a case of fitting in and getting people to understand you. You quickly learn to see that glazed expression when you start to speak a little bit too much British, and then people are like, what did you just say? I'm digressing. So yeah, I had to go back. And so yesterday I went and bought more, not as many this time, because it was just me picking, not me and Mr. Stitches. And I was on a roll doing all these errands. So I froze some more bags of quartered tomatoes. I just take the core out, cut them in quarters, and throw them in freezer bags. And the bags are a good size. They're not too big, and they hold enough that if you wanted to make a batch of pasta sauce, it's just enough. You could just toss it in a pan later on in the winter and have that lovely taste of fresh tomatoes instead of the canned ones. I mean, canned ones are fine, but it definitely tastes better when you've got the fresh. And today I'm going to make some ratatouille. So I also bought courgettes, eggplant, also known as aubergines, and bell peppers. And tonight we're going to have ratatouille. Oh, I love this time of year. Did I say I love this time of year? And then, of course, with the plums, I made another plum streusel cake, which I will definitely be leaving a recipe for underneath this video, because it's something we've been making for probably 30 years now, and it's a family favorite. Everybody likes it. And it's just, I only eat prune plums at this time of the year, and I eat a lot because I can't just eat one. If I eat one, I eat 6. But they are so good. So I made another plum streusel cake last night, and I made it fairly late, so we didn't eat it with dinner or anything. It was too late for that. But I noticed a couple of people had been attacking it overnight. So I had a piece of my breakfast this morning. As my breakfast, really. I had a piece of that and a banana, and it was awesome. I think what I'm going to do with some of the plums that are left is make some jam. I don't make a lot of jam, and I'm not going to make a complicated one. I don't think I have any pectin to add in it, but if I put some organic sugar and some lemon juice in, I think it'll be fine. If it doesn't set really firm, it doesn't matter. I can just put it into jars and freeze it if I want to, or just leave it in the back of the fridge. Yeah. It's just to have that lovely flavor of fall to take me into the winter. So let's see. Not a lot of making this week, unfortunately. I vacuumed my sewing room on Monday and it stayed tidy, which is a bad sign because it means I didn't come in here and make any creative chaoses. I don't think that's an acceptable plural. So the fact I didn't come in here all week got to me last night. And so I ended up coming in just because I had to make something. And also Mr. Stitches was asking me to make a small bag for his portable toothpaste, floss, and toothbrush set that he likes to throw in his work bag. Since he had the cancer treatment and all that radiation to the head and neck, his teeth have been more vulnerable. They do warn you that, you could end up losing teeth because of it if you don't really, really look after it carefully. We've never been a huge fan of fluoride, but these days he's using fluoride toothpaste. He's doing a fluoride rinse. He's doing a baking soda and salt rinse. And he is brushing his teeth after every meal. Every time he eats something, he's brushing his teeth. And so he needs to have that with him. And I kind of got into that habit when I had the braces on for 20 months. I also got into the same habit. And so I'm brushing my teeth a lot more than I used to as well. And, as you get older, you get to appreciate the teeth you have, and you certainly don't want to lose any of them. So he had asked me to make a bag that he could just put those 3 things in. And so I did make that last night. I gave it to him. I said I wasn't 100% happy with it. I said I could make more versions of it. And he said, it's fine, it works. I'll show it to you a bit later in the video because, of course, he took it to work with him today. So we'll talk about that a bit later. But it's pretty. Used a batik. Let's look at the crochet, right? Let's talk about the make-along. If you're new here, you might not know about the make-along. It's called #/colormal 2024. Slapdash for the channel, of course, slapdashery. Color because it's colorful, and make along because it's for crochet or knitting or sewing, not just one craft. Because I know there's a lot of you who do different crafts here, not just the one thing. And I am making a very colorful coat. It's called the Technicolor Dream Coat by Earth Tricks. And it's something I've had in my Ravelry queue for a really long time. And I decided the time was right. As we go into fall and the evenings are getting cooler and darker, it's nice to have some yarn on the lap, right? Keeps you warm, and sometimes a bit too warm because, you know, menopause, but it's still lovely. Happiness is, and I think I need to put this on a t-shirt, happiness is a couch full of yarn. I sit on one half of my couch. The other half has my project and my yarn and my hook all piled up on the side there, so I can just pick it up anytime. It's wonderful. Mr. Stitches has the other couch. I use the 2-seater now. He has the 3-seater, so he can spread out if he wants to. But his hobbies are not quite as messy as mine, maybe. The coat progress is currently attached to a ball, so it's going to be a bit weird here. I'll hold it up. I might try trying it on as well. In fact, it would be worth me doing that just to see how I like the fit. I'm using Loops and Threads Impeccable in 12 different colors. And I am about, I'm about 7 or 8 inches past the armhole now. It's worked top down. Okay, let's try it on. I'm hoping it'll fit over this slightly heavier top because it is supposed to be a coat. Obviously, I've got a lot of ends to weave in later from all my color changes. What I did, oh, hang on, let me move the mic. All right, I'll try not to crackle the mic. What I did after my last vlog, I had joined the shoulders last time, but I had done it to the 18 stitches that she said in the pattern, but it felt too tight here. So I actually undid a couple of the stitches of joining to make the neckline a tiny bit wider and more comfortable. The armhole I am happy with. I did add extra rows here. I think, yeah, hitting the mic again. I think I probably added at least 4 extra rows and a couple of extra stitches at each point here. So I have currently got 8 extra stitches over the pattern for my size. So the fun bits, of course, are the bobbles here. And then I've got this part with the surface crochet, and then another row of bobbles. And then the fun part, another fun part is coming up because there's going to be a wavy stitch, which you then surface crochet to outline. And I think that's coming up soon. So I'm excited about that. Well, I don't know if moving the microphone helped any because it sort of collapsed into the yarn. But anyway, it's not a difficult pattern, but I have found a couple of errors in it. I've also noticed that she doesn't really say right side, wrong side. And so what you have to do is if you're doing the back post double crochet, you have to make sure that the side you're working it from pushes that double color ridge to the front. And the same with that bobble row. You have to make sure that the bobbles are going to appear on the correct side as well and not pop out to the back because you want it to look right. Thankfully, I have enough crochet experience that I'm figuring it out as I go. So another thing I hope will be coming up later in this video once I figured out what I want to make, is I want to use up some more of this pig fabric. It's so creased, so creased. I have to give it a very good iron. In my last vlog, I showed you 4 bucket hats that I had made with this, and I have this chunk left, and this rather weird shaped piece. The thing with bucket hats is you end up cutting these really odd shapes out, and it's quite wasteful in a way. Oh, and that's quite a nice chunk as well. So, in the belief that you can't have too many things in this silent auction at the festival, I'm thinking of dragging out some of my jeans denim, seeing how I can incorporate that into another jeans type bag, but I'll have to figure that out later. Well, I think I've spread enough mess in here now to make it feel like home again. It doesn't look too tidy anymore. This is the bag I mentioned earlier. It's a beautiful turtle batik. It could be one of the set of fat quarters that we actually bought when we were in Maui pre-COVID. Can't remember exactly what year that was. So what I did is just cut almost a square. It was a rectangle, but I can't remember, something like 8 1/4 by 7 3/4. I had measured out how much room the toothbrush, toothpaste, and floss needed. I found this metal zip in my stash from somewhere. Not crazy about metal zips. When you put your hand in the bag, it sort of scrapes you a bit, and I'm like, maybe a nylon zipper would have been better. So inside, we've got the toothpaste and the floss and the toothbrush in the little pockets. I'll turn it inside out so you can see what I did. The lining, he's already put extra stuff in there, so it's probably a good thing I gave him extra room. The lining is ripstop nylon, which is not necessarily 100% waterproof, but it is water repellent, and it washes up nice and easily if it gets mucky. So I just did one piece for the one side of the lining, one piece for the other, and then I folded a third piece to make a pocket all the way across, and then just divided it into 3 sections. And Mr. Stitches seems to be happy enough with that. I was wondering if it was a bit big, like he was maybe envisioning it to be a bit more compact. But no, it seems okay. This is one challenge, of course. Maybe what I should have done is put pockets down both sides, because getting this thing into the end pocket there is a little bit tricky. Oh, wait a second. It goes, it all fits. And then he's got his extra little tube of something and a little toothpicky thing. It does the job. We can take that away with us when we go on holiday as well in October. I'm presuming that's the plan. So the other 2 things I made today were definitely an experiment. I've seen tons of snack bags online, and I thought, oh, maybe this pig fabric would make good snack bags. I could put the pig fabric on the outside, put the ripstop nylon on the inside. I have made a few bags of my own before, years ago, and I can't remember how I did them. They were just little zipper pouches, nothing special. But I thought I would try something different this time. So this was the first one I made. It's super tiny. It's a 6.5 inch square, and when you've sewn it and folded over the top, you get 5.5 by 3.5, which is really small. And it's snapped shut. So one thing I have noticed about this pig fabric, in a couple of places, there is a kind of browny area which looks a bit like a stain, and that's probably why it was a remnant. It got sold off cheap. But I didn't notice it till I'd cut it and pretty much done the whole thing. Really, really, really simple, quick bag. Just an outer and an inner. I'll probably do a tutorial for these, actually, because they were so easy. So what I decided to do was just have it. Originally, I was just going to fold it once and then snap it. But the trouble with that is there's no way then to hold these two layers together and then hold the layer to that with just 1 or 2 snaps. You've got to like snap the top closed, then you've got to snap the flap down, and that would have just been dumb. So what I ended up deciding on doing was to put 2 snaps higher up on that side and 2 lower down on that side. So you place these 2 snaps first, and then you fold it twice, and then just decide where you need that second set to go, which worked okay for the small size. And I was confident enough that I thought maybe I'll make a larger one with a 7.5-inch square, because that came out all right. It's usable. Fit a few nuts and raisins and things in there. So that, oops, throwing my glasses on the floor. The second one went super fast, except that I was a bit disappointed after I had affixed the snaps to notice that this one, you can probably tell there's a bump there, right there, because I tweaked the positioning of the snap. So here's my trick for this. It's a good size. When I did the fold and the fold, I used my friction pen just to mark where those 2 snaps were landing. And then I overthought it. And I did a measuring thing from each side to make sure they were the right distance from the edge. Unfortunately, that meant that this snap was 1/4 inch off where it should have been. So instead of sitting nice and flat, it's got a weird bulge in it. And I don't want to take it out. Taking out those cam snaps is really hard. Might not be a cam snap brand name set. It's an AliExpress set, and I've had it for years, and it's great. Those snaps hold like crazy, and getting them out again, I would probably just end up damaging the fabric. And I don't want to move it over, because then I've got a hole in the fabric now. So I think I'm going to keep these 2 for me. And maybe what I might do is use my raspberries, tomatoes, and Brussels sprout fabrics that I bought the other day and make a little fruit and vegetable set for the festival. Hard to say that, for the festival. But yeah, now that I'm working, I can definitely use some extra snack bags. Although with my shifts only being 4.5 hours at the moment, I'm not even needing a lunch, but I do need a snack sometimes. Some of my shifts are over the lunch hour and I get a little bit hungry. And so even though I've got only 15 minutes as a coffee break, I do sometimes need to snack. I don't have time for a hot drink, unfortunately. So what I might do sometimes is take a thermos of coffee. Working out well. Work is working out well. I've really enjoyed the 4 shifts I've done so far. The team there seems to be a lot of fun. They have a lot of banter going back and forth on the walkie-talkies during the day, which is very amusing sometimes. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, so that's good. All right, I need to get off here so I can go and meet my friend for that walk. It's the next day and I have good news. I managed to make 3 successful snack bags. I'm so happy. I made a tomato one with red snaps and a raspberry one with green snaps and a Brussels sprout one with light green snaps. So all you have to do is you just fold down the edge twice and snap it closed. These snaps, I said it before, didn't I? They're strong. That's what it looks like closed. I did the 7.5 inch cut this time. So I think it would be a good idea to do a tutorial for this. It probably won't be this weekend. I am going out for lunch shortly with a couple of friends who I used to work with. And tomorrow I am busy with festival matters. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I'm working. So maybe later in the week. There you go. I just think it's the perfect kind of print for snack bags, isn't it? Fruit and vegetables. The ripstop nylon isn't completely waterproof, it's water repellent, but you could make these with that PUL fabric. And I know, let me see, where was it? I think it was called Funky Monkey Fabrics out east. Does it food safe PUL? If you wanted to source that in Canada and be really picky, but I'm not too picky about that. I'm pretty sure there's nothing in ripstop nylon that's going to hurt my food if I put some fruit and nuts in there or something. So this is what my living room looks like, right in front of my TV. I've got all these boxes and bags, gift certificates and donated product for the festival. And I'm taking all of this tomorrow and we're going to be putting together goodie bags and gift bags along with some other stuff that other people will bring. My geraniums, or should I say pelargoniums, are certainly enjoying the cooler temperatures. Look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? We've taken a few cuttings in the hope we can get them going again for next year rather than buying new. It's been a lovely fall day. About 22 degrees maximum. Rain overnight last night. And judging by those clouds, probably some more rain in the near future. Currently standing in a puddle on my deck in my bare feet. Oh, that's cool. Love it when the garden greens up again. Well, that's everything for today. We've talked about the crochet and the sewing and everything else, so it's time to say goodbye again for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.